What's going on YouTube? It's your boy kswuuby back to y'all with another YouTube video, and today we're gonna be reacting to what's wrong with Gen Z, or why is Gen Z slowly giving up. This video came out a minute ago, about 10 months ago, so we're gonna go ahead and react to it. But yeah, man, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're 200 subscribers. Let's go and get into the video, man.
Society used to be based. Imagine you're walking down a long dirt road. It's the same path your parents have travelled, and they love telling you about how much easier the journey is today, and that all you need to do is keep walking. The milestones stretch out in front of you, landmarks that your parents reached as part of their journey. But as the years go by and the road stretches out, they just seem further and further away. Sometimes a storm blows in and you have to wait for it to pass, or the road turns to mud and it feels like you're trudging through a swamp. Eventually you look up and you realise that you've gotten no further than you were a day, a month, or a year ago. There's a very good reason Gen Z is the most apathetic, cynical, and detached generation in living history. Just look at the hand they've been dealt. It's so much.
Y'all, you talking about Gen Z? What's the next generation after us? Is it X or Alpha? I think X is before us. Gen Alpha? Let me make sure. Whoever's after Gen Z, they're cooked for real. Hold on. Yeah, Gen Alpha, they're cooked. Like, we grew up in a time where like we grew up like half our, like, if you were born in the right moment, half our lives we grew up without internet, and then half our lives now we're gonna live most of our lives with the internet, which is kind of crazy to say. Sorry, but yeah, I feel like we just got like the, you feel me, like, I don't know how to explain it.
Much harder today to find a meaningful relationship, buy a home, start a family, get a good job, and generally live your life.
Bro, stuff's so expensive, bro. Like, I can't even. Bro, I went to the store the other day, and I was trying to look for some honey, and the honey was $6.99. I almost got mad because it was like, why is this $6.99? I feel like I've never really bought honey, but like, why is honey $6.99? Like, it bewildered me.
With each rung on the ladder getting further apart, you can't blame people for doubting if the climb is worth it. Participation in society used to be based on an underlying deal. If you paid attention at school, worked hard, and treated people with respect, eventually everything would fall into place. Society had set structures which guaranteed that the people who followed the rules would actually get something.
And now, like, going to school sometimes and getting a good education, that doesn't even matter anymore because stuff is so expensive.
Out of it, a home, a family, a purpose, something which maybe added meaning to their lives. But over the past few decades, all of that was systematically stripped away. It was the lie we were told growing up. Everyone has to grow up. But the breaking of that illusion has been particularly traumatic to Gen Z. As children, we were told we could do anything, and that the world was a place where all of this would come true. But the reality that we actually grew into was far from a paradise, and the way we learnt about it was like diving straight into the deep end. Just a few hundred years ago, the things people learnt and knew about the world fit neatly together. People learnt about the world from the people around them, and they built their own beliefs based entirely on their own small world. Structure and traditions were handed down to you and your community, and then it all got thrown into chaos. The Enlightenment and the Scientific Revolution destroyed the foundations of these religious and traditional worldviews. People's worldviews expanded, and their lives got more complicated. As religion lost its dominant role, ideology came in to replace it. As the world slowly modernized, traditional communities struggled to survive, and traditional structures in society were replaced by ideological ones. People's allegiance and place shifted from their community to their nation state and the ideas they stood for. Even into the 20th century though, your view of the world could still remain consistent. Most people still had a clear path for their lives, and a clear way of thinking about life shared among the people they knew. The internet and access to mass media from across the world has blown all of this.
Like, what do y'all think of life? Like, what gives y'all purpose to be here and like keep wanting to go, like, every single day? Like, is it just like the blessing of being alive? Is it for a purpose? Is it to feed your family because you love them? Like, why do y'all keep going every day? Like, what's y'all reason for getting up every day and keep going?
away. Instead of one belief system dominating our lives, there's thousands of false desires for us to pick and choose from. Instead of consistent shared experience, we've been exposed to millions of different people's subjective views on life. By the time they're 12 years old, kids today have been plunged headfirst.
I be asking myself that a lot, cause like I be like, what's the reason for all this? I feel like it's like so much going on, but it could be like so easily avoided if we just didn't do what we did. But we come into an imperfect world, and I've just faced I've just come to that like everything that we go through is just going to happen. It's just a part of that's what life is, because that's how things were created. And the reason I'm here is to serve God, but that may not be a same belief for everybody else. That's why I'm asking, like, why do y'all keep going? Is it just to stay alive, just to have fun, or is it just like, you feel me? I don't know.
Into the shifting sea of ideas, millions of judgments and opinions about what's right or wrong, how you should act, and what's either desirable or disgusting. It's easy for people to retreat into this world of information. The philosopher and sociologist Jean Baudrillard describes this world as hyperreality, a sort of world beyond worlds, made up of meanings behind objects and people rather than what they actually are. Things and concepts which exist in the real world, like beauty, tragedy,
There's so many people have like these crazy parasocial relationships with things and stuffs and items that they don't know exist or care to exist, and people just create these false realities in their head instead of living in the actual world. And sometimes, everybody, I feel like if you've been on the internet, everybody has fallen victim to that. And I'm not saying that's okay, but as long as you come up out of that, then you should be fine. But some people just live in there, and they fester, and it kind of crushes your person. Like, it crushes your soul if you like continue to live this false reality. It's like basically just AI. Like, I don't see how people live like that. Like, you should wanna go outside and like talk to people, especially people who relate to what you do or what you like, or like things like topics. Like, I'm in the band, and I feel like I have a small family within the band world, because we all like share the same interests. We all doing the same thing, and I feel like we're all so connected because we're all doing the same thing. And I feel like if you find that group of people who take interest, as long as it's like anything crazy, like if you are eating people, then you feel me, you tripping game. But like, you feel me, just like, I don't see how people just want to be sitting up in the house looking at the screen all day. And I know that's kind of what I'm doing right now, but I still get out. You feel me? Like, if I wasn't like on quarantine right now, I probably wouldn't be right here right now. I can't even lie.
Virtue and vice all get warped and maximized. Beautiful people become impossibly perfect with computer editing and filters. Every crisis from around the world is suddenly right in front of you until it's quickly replaced by...
Bro, like, social media is so crazy. Like, especially Twitter. Like, sometimes I have to delete Twitter because it's so surreal. Like, and I'm so tame to it now. I see somebody could die or get unalived. I'm sorry. I can see somebody get unalived on Twitter, and it's like, dang, that's crazy. And then I move on to the next post. Like, that person just died in front of my eyes, and it's like, yeah. Sometimes it's like when it's super brutal, when it's like super like graphic and brutal, I feel like, dang, that was kind of a lot to take in. It kind of made me upset. It kind of made me sick. But it's like, this world is so crazy. So many things happen. There's billions of people on this earth with like different missions and different mindsets, different goals, doing it all at the exact same time. Like, somebody right now probably doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now. It's not even probably. They are. It's so many people. Like, you got to think about it. So many people on this earth are doing the exact same thing that you were doing, that it would be impossible for them to not to do. They might not be in the same manner, in the same space, or the same way, but it's along the same line. And I just feel like that's just so crazy to me.
Something else. The craziest outbursts and the most violent altercations rise to the top. These forces are most noticeable in people's sexual identity and preferences. Overstimulation and seeing all of your desires digitalized eventually gets boring for people. The more immersed in hyperreality they become, the harder it is for them to quench these desires.
Yeah, this has been me for like the past 2-3 days. I just been scrolling on TikTok, and I've been getting bored of it. Like, I've been wanting to do something. I couldn't go to sleep last night till like 3 or 4 a.m. scrolling on TikTok. I just had to put my phone. I I'm going to sleep. I have to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep because I like TikTok was just not. I wouldn't even know. I was on Instagram actually. I don't even watch TikTok for real no more. But it just wasn't. It just wasn't entertaining.
Everything becomes more and more extreme and detached from actual
Right.
reality. Baudrillard describes this.
Nobody cares about shame anymore. I still care about shame. Like if I was doing some of the stuff these people are doing on the internet, I know I'm yapping, man. We're 3 minutes in. We're 3 minutes and 38 minutes in. 3 minutes 38 seconds in the video, and I'm yapping. But nobody cares about shame anymore, bro. Like shame does not exist anymore, and I don't see why. Like some of the things these people are doing right now, 10 years ago, they would have been nailed to a. I mean, not nailed to a cross. They would have been like, they would got obliterated. Like you feel me? Like it's a crazy time. And then the more degenerate stuff that you do, the more praise, not more praise, but the more likes and the more attention you get. And I guess that's all money driven.
Hyperreal world as being far more intense and ecstatic than the real world we live in. People find themselves fleeing the desert of the real for this digital world of symbols and subjectivity. But even if you don't get so caught up in hyperreality, it still changes the world around you. People's values and beliefs shift to reflect their ever-changing window into public opinion. Objects and people gain value according to how they're regarded in this hyperreality, as opposed to their actual value. They become symbols. Eventually, as we're seeing today, the hyperreal world begins to replace the real one entirely. If people act based on hyperreality and social status within it, then it starts to dominate life itself. Parts of life like fashion, which were already based in symbolism and underlying meanings, show the most severe effects of this. It's only in a hyperreal world that the brand Supreme could make a literal brick with their logo carved into it, which would then later sell online for over $1,000. Living in this world, and especially growing up in it, makes it much harder for people to find actual meaning, when everything only has value based on shifting opinion.
Bro, people buy the dumbest stuff. And I buy some dumb stuff, but like I'm not going spending thousands on that dumb stuff. At least my dumb stuff gonna be like $10, $15. They go spend millions of $1,000s on the dumbest stuff, bro, and it never makes sense to me. A brick game. Oh, I'm sorry.
Opinions and an invisible social hierarchy, nothing has any permanent meaning behind it. This hyperreality becomes all the more tempting when you put down the phone and take a real look at the day.
Everything is like such a simulation now. Like nothing seems authentic. That's what everything I see on the internet, I take with a grain of salt now. Like if I feel like it's like a video like this, I feel like this is informational because I feel like it's the truth. Because I'm a very logical thinker and I'm a very logical person. I like to think about what I'm looking at, and I like to think about topics that interest me. And I just don't think anything, especially like when it comes to social media, is like, I feel like I'm not gonna say everything is fabricated, but nothing is 100% genuine. And when it is, it's hard to tell because so many things have been fabricated, and it's just you don't know what to see as fake or real. Even in real life, like. People are getting like finding around ways, like, not to say there's anything wrong with this, but like cosmetic looking, like BBLs and veneers and faceless. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying, like, why not just be happy with the body that God blessed you with instead of just trying to please? Because people be like, I'm doing it for myself, but if you would have never seen somebody who looked better or heard somebody say something about you, you would have never got that change. If somebody would told you pretty, and they constantly tell you pretty, so like Miss P telling you pretty, of course you're not gonna go change yourself. But if you got like, if you seeing other people saying she look different, she look good, he look good, yeah, you feel me? Like if you saying they look good and you don't look the same, it's gonna make you feel some type of way. Instead of like building self confidence within yourself, and like, and people go to the cheap rate. Instead of like trying to like diet or like get a better skin routine or like investing in a better like dental routine or like going to the gym, they just automatically go spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on going to get their body done or their face done or their teeth done. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You do what you want with your money. I don't care. I'm just saying it's better in easier and cheaper ways.
World. Following the advice of the people who came before us.
And really, what you doing, instead of like fabricating it, you taking care of what you already have when you go do those things like exercise and like investing in the face care routine. you just taking care of what you already have, and you can make those things better.
It doesn't work too well. The world has changed so much in recent history that the roadmap they followed just doesn't work anymore. Finding someone special, settling down, buying a home and having children just isn't feasible for most people. And the root of the problem is economic. When you look at what it takes to reach these integral parts of life today compared to 20 or 50 years ago, it puts it all into perspective. Let's start with the US. Here's the home price to median household income ratio over time. It measures how many years it would take, saving all the money the average American household earns, to buy a family home. From 1965 to 2000, it hovered around 3.5 to 4.5, a healthy ratio that meant that homes were usually within the reach for most people, which isn't the case today at all. After years of stagnating wages, greedy bankers playing the system, and a global pandemic, we're closing in on 8. It would take 8 years of wages to buy just one home. The UK is even worse off on average. They blew past 8 years in 2015. Now it would take 9 years of wages to buy one house. In the big cities, it's even worse. To buy the average home in LA and comfortably pay the mortgage, you need to make over $220,000. In New York, the median house price is equivalent to over 10 years of income for the average household. A London family would need a staggering 16 years of uninterrupted wages to buy a house outright.
Uninterrupted wages.
Cities that young people move to for work, and high wages end up being far harder to get a foothold in. And all of this is so important because owning a home...
And then these are like the most popular cities. You need to make $200,000 a year to be able to afford to live in California. And it's like, I don't know, man.
It's the foundation for a traditional life. Living paycheck to paycheck and paying off someone else's mortgage means there's barely a safety net at all. It's dangerous for people to live their lives because it's just too expensive in our society. Adding in childcare costs makes it clear why very few people are even having children anymore. Is it really a surprise the West is facing a giant population collapse? Of course, it isn't just housing here. Inflation has meant that everything's gotten so much more expensive.
Are we losing a population?
Of course, it isn't just housing here. Inflation has meant that everything's gotten so much more expensive. Corporate profiteering and price gouging haven't helped either. But as everything has gotten more expensive, wages have continued to stagnate for most. Since 1979, the bottom 90% of the US saw their income rise by around 24% adjusting for inflation. Meanwhile, it doubled for the top 1% of the country. Hyper-reality has distracted people from this. They still know it's happening, everyone's feeling the effects. But with the constant assault of useless information you're powerless to do anything about.
Right, it's like, it's just happening. Like, it's like, even I'm sitting here talking about it. It's like, what am I gonna do about it? It's just all happening. Like, what can we really do about it? I know what I'm saying. I know it's probably some things as a unit we could do to probably change some things. But it's just like all subconsciously happen because we're so hyper focus on what's happening in our lives that we can't really control what goes on. I don't know.
You just get swallowed up by the constant cycle. It acts as a release valve for people's rightful outrage. Real anger and emotions that would have been converted into real action end up in cyberspace instead. There they join the billions of other opinions and fade away into the background noise. Things go by so fast we're unable to process them.
Bro, days, like, the days have been sliding together. Like, bro, 2024 just started a month ago, and we got like 5 more months left. I just feel like, bro, everything is just coming to, like, I'm finna be 21 like next year, bro, and I'm not ready, bro. Like, everything is just on hard mode right now. Going 2 times speed.
Humans just not built to deal with so much at once, and as a result, hyperreality all seems like a blur, like you're traveling through it all so fast that you only get a sense of the underlying emotions. The algorithms manipulate
like, literally, I have to like remind myself just to like take in the moment. Like, in the moment, like right now, I'm having to like consciously remind myself just to take it. Hey, this is what we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna worry about what's going on tomorrow. You feel me? We don't know what's in store for tomorrow. So you're just gonna take it in right now. Like, you here right now. So let's just process what we doing right now, and we're not even gonna worry about what's going on tomorrow, or like in the next hour, in the next couple minutes. Just focus on right now.
this further, and push content that makes people feel self-conscious or negative to the top. It doesn't help that we're going through a global crisis right now, the brink of a third world war, economic catastrophe, the world's a mess, and Gen Z knows they're the ones who are going to have to clean it all up. And so applying Baudrillard's work to our world today illuminates the reasons behind how absurd and unreal it can all seem. The replacement of reality with hyper-reality shifted the
So, who is to blame? Would it be millennials, Gen X, boomers? Who is to blame, or would it be the internet? Who is to blame?
focus of everything to social status. Money's a good example. Generally, people's wages and the amount of money they earned was linked to the quality of their labor and how productive they were. Today,
And then it be like at the same time, all these people be struggling, but then you get on TikTok and you got a 12-year-old millionaire just coming out of nowhere who started his own business when he was 5, and now he's making 6 figures before his mom. Like, it be so bewildering, bro.
Today, how much you earn is entirely based on your social status within the system. It's been to the benefit of both CEOs and the top OnlyFans models. They both earn their money not through the quality of their work or what they produce, but through their position at the top of the hierarchy. The focus on speculative value, as opposed to real value, has aided scam artists and snake oil salesmen as well. It's only in our modern world that Sam Bankman-Fried could convince top hedge funds and millions of people to invest in a
Never thought about scamming. I ain't gonna say I ever do it, but it has come across my head before. Like, what do you just hit for that one time and then you're done? It be that one time you go to jail.
Ponzi scheme. The result of all of this is a society which puts far more focus on the optics of equality whilst becoming even more rigidly ordered and stratified. Movement up the ladder becomes even harder despite the appearance of a constant march towards a more liberal society. So how do you survive in a world like this? Well, there's a few different routes people take. Lots of people detach entirely, completely leaving the desert of the real and retreating entirely into hyper-reality. It isn't an active choice, of course. The passive nature of consumption just goes hand in hand with the inaction of depression. Simple things like exercise and living life become harder and harder to do. As you sink into these lower levels,
Another thing with the internet, our attention span has gone down like tremendously. Like, I commend myself for like being able to get through an hour-long YouTube video at this point. Like, I can watch a movie for an hour straight and not get on my phone for real. I may take it here and there, but like, it's something about a YouTube video, because like the short form content on like TikTok and Instagram and all those apps, it's kind of brainwashed us, and it's kind of brainwashed me. So I kind of like try not to get too wrapped into like, dang, this video is so long. Oh my gosh, when it's gonna be over? Like, and especially when it's actually a good informational video that I'm trying to watch.
nasty loop is that doing these things is what you need in the first place to break you out, but the more depressed someone is, the more difficult they become. There isn't one single cure to this, or some collection of words that will solve it. Everyone's journey is their own, and what people do have is their own personal strength in the people around them. Finding a natural reason to break free, carry on, is
This is what I'm saying, bro. You find you a solid group of friends that like actually care about you, bro. Y'all could really like build something. Like, me and my homeboys, we be like, we'll build each other up. Like, even like one of us feeling down, you feel me, or we just not all the way there mentally, we like, bro, keep going, bro, keep pushing, bro. Like, God got us, bro. And this is like, we literally had a conversation like this the other day, I swear. It was like, it literally pushes us to all do better. Even like, we all in different stages in our life. We all doing different things. We all got different goals. We all got different things set. We all come from different backgrounds, different families. We all have like this one common interest, and that's just like to make it, to get there. Like, you feel me? And we all kind of like push each other to keep going. I feel like you have like a good friend group and a good background, a good social setting. You could like create yourself or form yourself into a better person, especially if you got people all on the same page as you.
completely different though. It's something philosophers have tried to solve for thousands of years, with middling results. Today, there's a few general approaches people try to use to find some sort of meaning. One approach has been championed by people like Andrew Tate to embrace hyperreality to the fullest. If social status is all that matters, then why not give in and make it the meaning behind your life as well? Andrew Tate calls this breaking out of the Matrix. But really, it's more similar to what Cypher did in the film than Neo. When he portrayed Neo and decided to go back into the Matrix, he represented embracing hyper-reality. He accepted that even if the steak he was eating and the life he was living was fake and meaningless, he might as well enjoy the pleasures of it. Building social status, buying Bugattis, living in Dubai, having empty encounters with multiple women might sound like a 15-year-old boy's dream life, but in reality, that life never existed in the first place. It's an idealized image with little basis in true reality, expressed.
See, none of it, like the yacht looks cool, I can't lie, but like all the extra stuff, you feel me, that he just stated, that doesn't like really spark my interest.
Through heavily edited snippets and highlights. And even if you could live a life like that, it wouldn't add any real meaning to your life.
Right, it does nothing for you. It does. I mean, you may have fun, but that's only if you like that type of stuff. Like, I'm not the type of person who like want to have, like, look at this picture. This doesn't, like, what's his name? I forgot his name. But like, this is just look interesting to me. Like, I'd rather be at home with my girl, literally just chilling. And
You have
be on
no
the yacht with
soul,
10
you
different
have no
females.
consciousness. You're not connected to any deeper purpose.
Right, none of these people, y'all have, you have no type of real connection with none of these women in this picture. Nothing. They just there because they're like trophies to you.
That's within inside of you. There will always be a faster and more expensive car to buy or a larger mansion to own. Treating everything and everyone like an object of social status also justifies awful and abusive
Everybody is a person, bro. Like, I hate people
behavior.
that like
Any
that.
belief system that reduces people into something else inevitably leads to tragedy. Whilst embracing hyperreality isn't the answer, rejecting it completely isn't either. It would sound ideal to just take your loved ones and go live in a cabin somewhere. You'd be free to live an authentic life in nature, but it just isn't very realistic. Most people can't afford to just leave society, and even if they can, it's hard to convince others to join you. And by cutting out a community, you're cutting out one of the most important needs in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Deleting social media might be a less drastic solution, but you'll still be living in a hyper-real society. Detaching from life and society in these ways might be the right option for some. For others, it's life-denying. It's a decision born out of the fear of suffering what society has become.
I feel like with certain people, it just depends. Like, certain people can maintain life off social media, but now social media has such a big hold on today's society that it's literally become one of the main ways that you create income for a business, or that be the thing that you create income off. Like, for me, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? Not saying this is money driven, because I actually like to talk, but I do like to, well, I do look forward to making some type of income off of doing YouTube and doing Instagram and doing TikTok, you feel me? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's just why most of everybody's doing it. And then you also have a passion for it, but I feel like the passion don't come first, then you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Would it not be better to work within society and at least try and make it a bit better, rather than just leaving it to the rest of the world? When the world faced a similar crisis of meaning 150 years ago, Nietzsche saw that the only escape from nihilism was to create your own values. They can't be based in hyper-reality, and as create a collection of other people's experiences. The only thing that actually exists is your own viewpoint and your own perspective. That world is the only one you have even limited control over. Nietzsche believed that the highest values we can create come from the innate human will to power. And what he meant by this is still up for debate, but it doesn't mean simply forcing everything and everyone into submission. Instead, one interpretation of this will to power is how well you can shape the world around you. To have power in your life, the better you can make it, and the more it suits your own personal purposes, the more power you have. So analyze everything you read, hear, or see that could impact your decisions. Think about the motivations behind the person saying it. Decide whether it aligns with your own personal world and whether it can make it better. If it can, embrace it and see what happens. If not, discard it. The world is going through a crisis and it'll need strong, principled people to see it through. The only thing you can do though is worry about your own world and the people around you. The rest is up to fate.
I feel like the world is so big to be trying to worry about the rest of you. You just gotta do you at this point.
Of crises that breed strong people, make sure you're one of them. But if you're interested in really finally defeating your social media addiction once and for all, I think you'll find my community of interest. You see, I'm actively working with like-minded people in my school to destroy internet addiction with one-to-one.
I think it's the end of the video. Yeah, that's pretty much the end. But man, that was a good video, man. Like, I really want y'all to try to like answer some of the questions I said in the video, because I just want to hear y'all response. But let me go ahead and get out of here. It's been real, man. It's your boy kswuuby. Back to y'all another video. Road 200. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We out, man.